The ball in the seam to him as he was getting into that area. Torrey Hunter has had a solid season for this team. He spent 2 years with the Houston Oilers on their practice squad and then back onto their regular squad, and he leads the secondary in tackles. It's been a nice year for him.
2nd and 10. Flutie rolling right. And that ball, I think, out of bounds. Yes, no catch. Kerwin, the intended receiver, but he was out of touch. And the Argonauts are going to have to punt the ball away for the first time in the second half.
Well, Doug visibly upset that Kerwin wasn't able to keep his feet in, but I think the ball took him out of bounds just a little more than Doug would have liked. And the youngster, the rookie wide receiver, couldn't get his feet down. Well, as it turns out, he had room to get his feet down. He just set the outside foot down before he set the inside foot down. And Doug upset with that. He put the ball where it needed to be.
There's a block. That's Bruno Heppel, who blocked one earlier this year. Rolling down inside the 5. Get up, Bruno. And he will. Touchdown.
Well, an uncharacteristic miscue by a Don Matthews coach team. Their special teams are as solid as any's in the league, and Dave Ritchie's crew has a block on, and Bruno Heppel comes right through the middle untouched, blocks it, rolls on it, and then with the help of Chris Cuthbert gets up and scores.
Well, it's his first CFL touchdown. I thought he froze there for a second. What a big thrill for him. One of Chris Walby's kind of guys, coming through big. And Montreal gets a big play when they need it, and Baker puts the point after through. And the Alouettes are back on top.
Well, Bruno Heppel is right here, I believe. We're going to see him come through. And nobody touches him.
And this is the second time he's done this against the Argos this year. Oh, he was thinking of sharing the glory with somebody. Almost handed it off, but just get it in the end zone.
Well, as Chris Walby always refers to in these special team situations, is you have to count people out. And when they line up with people staggered, sometimes they count improperly. And either the center or the up back was supposed to get a pop on Heppel, and he just went through the middle, and they didn't sort it out properly. And Heppel's got his first CFL touchdown of his career.
And while the Alouettes are celebrating, there was an injured man down on the play after the convert.
That's Ryan Coughlin, and he's their long snapper. So he's a guy that you need to keep in the game, because those guys are hard to come by, a good solid deep snapper.
And under his own power, Ryan is heading off. 4:18 remaining in the third quarter. After a quick start by the Alouettes, they led 14-0. Argos fought back to take the lead, but it was short-lived as the Alouettes come up with a big play on special teams. You're right, though. It doesn't happen to a Don Matthews coach team very often. For Heppel to do it twice in the same season is an accomplishment, and obviously a breakdown in the Argos scheme of things. And here's pinball. And Mike Clements across the 30. Let's join Mark Lee with a familiar Montreal face.
Thanks, Chris. In the Alouette private box with the former Canadiens general manager Serge Savard, who is a guest of the team here today. And amid word, Serge, that you've been asked to try to help the club make inroads with respect to corporate support of this community.
Well, I guess Larry's meeting a lot of people in the business community, and he's asking for some help. And as a citizen, you know, I think we have everything to gain to keep our club in Montreal as well as the ball club. I may get involved a little bit just as a citizen.
Right.
You know?
Well, you're well connected in this community. What do you think? I mean, can this team make a go in Montreal?
I think so. It's just the fact that we lost football here for about 10 years, and it might not be a very good stadium for football right now here. But going back downtown, it's the same thing with Mr. Brochu. I guess it's going to be a good thing.
You think the Molson Stadium might help rekindle some nostalgia next weekend?
Yeah, I think they'll practice next week. But with renovation, it could be a good stadium.
All right, Serge, thanks for your time, and it's a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
Serge Savard has been a season ticket holder with the Alouettes, a great fan, and he could make a big impact. Here's Flutie on second down, out to Clements. Clements with his third catch of the game, and he's wrapped up at the 50 and driven back as Douglas Kraft shoves him away. 12-yard gain for the pinball.
You can always tell when Doug Flutie's on his game by where he puts the football and how quickly it gets on his receivers. He's going to get back and he's going to see Clemens break the sideline. Look where the ball is, right on the money as he's running to the sideline. That allows Clemens to catch the ball and turn immediately upfield and get north and south and pick up the first down. And Doug has done that today. He's hit several people in stride to allow them to get up the field.
Pinball now, 120 catches. Still, Fallon Pitt's receiving record might be reachable, especially if Doug Flutie keeps looking his way. There's another catch, 121 up to midfield, and a gain of 6 yards. You know, 300 yards is I guess the mark of an excellent game for a quarterback. I think what's remarkable about Doug Flutie, he's averaged over 308 yards passing in every game as a Toronto Argonaut.
That's phenomenal. And the reason being is because he gets the ball to people like Clemens right away and allows them to make something happen. Urban Smith comes in right at the end to try to dress up the tackle, and he gets dressed up by Alfred Payton. Still feeling the effects of that shot. That's one that Chris Walby will love right there. That's a beauty.
Well, let's check in with the big guy.
I tell you what, on this play, you're right. Tom Hips, you can see him. He's building up a head of steam. A big guy's getting some room to run here now. He's going to try and help out. He just got in the game. Whoa. Bam, he catches his own player, as you said. And watch the arms. They just go flat. Bingo. This is like it isn't a cartoon. We just hope he's not hurt that bad.
Tom Hips, the big rookie nose tackle, and he's got to remember his guys are wearing blue also.
Served down to trying to bring him to, and looks like he's going to be okay, but that was a knockout shot by his own teammate. One more look at Hips, and Tracy Gravely got a piece of him too.
Well, you know what happens there is, like you said, the cartoon, Chris, is like the anvil got dropped on his head.
All-Canadian cornerback.
Dropped a few shots on some
I
people
tell you
like
what,
that.
I haven't seen anything like that. And I've been knocked over piles by defensive backs. I don't care who hits you. If you get that momentum behind you and you're in the wrong spot, bam! But it's like you talk about the piano coming off the top of the building. Lights out, baby.
Well, Irv will try and get the lights back on, and Mark Washington will come in to take his spot. 2nd and 5 for the Argos at midfield, and flags flying before the play gets off.
Well, now that goes from a conversion situation on 2nd and 6 or 2nd and 5 to now 2nd and 10.
Procedure, Toronto number 65, still 2nd down.
Big Willie Williams. It has not been an error-free afternoon for the Double Blue.
No, and I think that's forced by the way Montreal's played defensively, but now the situation is, now Doug doesn't have the opportunity to drop the ball off to a guy at 5 yards and know he has the first down. If he drops it off, somebody's going to have to run for a first down for him. So that's the difference in the mistake by Willie Williams.
That time possession stat means that they've been playing Flutie ball here in the second half so far. Doug over the middle, and this one's picked off. Tommy Europe has it. Intended for Dwayne Dimitrition, but the free safety, Tom Europe, who made a big play last week to ensure a Montreal victory, has an interception. Europe's 3rd of the year.
Well, Doug got pressured and he threw it off his back foot a little bit. I think he's upset that his receiver kind of gave up on the ball I think he felt he gave up on the football a little bit. But Tom Europe, as you said, Chris, has come up with so many plays for this team. Doug was pressured and threw it off his back foot, and Tim Attrition just couldn't find the ball. He saved 3 games for this team, Tom Europe, by plays in the final few seconds.
Of course, he's a Toronto guy out of Northern Secondary School.
Well, Tom Europe was the all-West free safety last year in BC. Had a little stint in camp with the Saints and has come back and really solidified the free safety spot for a good Montreal defense.
So the Alouettes with the football. Thanks to Tom Europe. 2nd and 8 in the final minute of the 3rd quarter. And Tracy Ham can't find anybody. Now throws and skips the pass. Incomplete, intended for Chris Armstrong. So the Alouettes unable to do anything offensively with the Tom Europe interception. And they'll be forced to punt.
Well, Tracy had a good time there, as Doug Flutie did not enjoy on the last series of downs with the glare in his face. He had to throw off his back foot, threw his 23rd interception of the season.
46 touchdowns, 23 interceptions. Is that like a pitcher, baseball, or walks and strikeouts? Should be a 2-to-1 ratio?
Well, it's a bit high for Doug Flutie standards, and I'm sure that he would be the first guy to say that. I think he's thrown a few more interceptions this year than he normally does.
Baker, and they get to Baker's punt. That one was blocked by Donald Smith. So the Argos answered that back with a block of their own.
Well, Donald Smith, as Bruno Hempel was on his block, is completely unblocked. He comes in off the edge of the formation and just flies in and finds the point where the ball's going to be kicked and snuffs it. He goes right by the up back. Nobody blocks him.
That's the 2nd block of the year for Donald Smith.
Ironically, the up back that's blocking here is Bruno Hempel. And Bruno only gets an arm on Donald Smith, and Smith knocks the ball down.
Norm Casola came up with the ball. And at the 39, it's a first down for the Argos. Flutie rolling to his right. And that pass incomplete. Irv Smith is going to be called for pass interference, because I'm not sure that ball was catchable, was it? Smith.
I would have to agree. The ball's thrown to the sideline and out of bounds. I think this is good, solid corner play by Irv Smith, just holding his ground. The receiver's going to
forward pass interference. Montreal number 21, first down.
Andre Kerwin is going to run into Irv Smith, and there's always hand fighting going on between the receiver and the corner, and I think this would have been better off as a no call. You're not going to be able to see the end of the hand fighting that went on this play, but you see where the ball is thrown, and I'm not, as you said, I don't think Andre Kerwin would be able to even get to it.
They put it down to the 23, first down Toronto. 10 seconds to go, 3rd quarter. Flutie, quarterback draw. Drop the ball, and the Alouettes have it. Penalty marker down, that's Swift Birch. Running downfield, Birch still going. Tim Attrition, maybe the only guy to get him. No, Flutie does. But what is the penalty? A marker back at the line of scrimmage.
Well, Mike Kiselak had a solid block on Gravely, and it looked like he might have held him, but I don't know what the call. We're going to have to wait and see what the call was.
Holding. Toronto number 57. Decline. First down.
Well, they get Dan Payne for the hold, Chris, and so the play will stand. Swift Birch with the return.
A wild end to the 3rd quarter. A 63-yard return by Swift Birch after Doug Flutie was stripped of the football. 45 minutes of wild CFL action. 33-30 Montreal.
Well, Doug Flutie made a super play to maybe save a touchdown, but it was because of a fumble by Doug Flutie that the situation resulted. Doug takes so much on his shoulders to make things happen for this offense, and this time he calls his own number. This is a quarterback draw, but he wants to shift the ball to the right arm, and as he starts to, he loses it. And now the ball's scooped up by Swift Birch, and Swift starts looking to bail some water out of a sinking ship right here, and Doug Flutie's going to come in from behind and make the play.
I'm not sure he lived up to his name with the fumble return. Here's Ham looking in the end zone, and the ball knocked down, but a flag flies as Adrian Smith is down. Looking for Chris Armstrong in the end zone for the third time.
Well, Tracy Ham babied this throw a little bit, and Adrian Smith actually had a better play on the football than the wide receiver did.
Forward pass interference. Montreal number 3. Decline. Second down.
I'm going to call Mill Coleman. Apparently setting a pick.
Well, Tracy had Armstrong for the touchdown, and he underthrew it. He just didn't get the ball out there.
Adrian Smith on the limp. You wonder if Ham looks back that way. 2nd and 10 from the 24. Time to throw. He does go down that side. No, Coleman incomplete. And it'll be 3rd down.
Well, 2 poorly thrown balls by Tracy Ham in this series, and they're not going to reap the benefits of the great field position. And this is a victory for the Toronto defense to come in and shut down Tracy Ham and his offense and hold him to a field goal opportunity.
And another test for Terry Baker, who's had a tough afternoon.
Well, they've got the firing squad lined up on the sidelines if he misses this one.
31 yards out, Graves the holder, and Baker nails that one. And it's a 6-point lead for the Alouettes, 36-30 here early in the 4th quarter.
Well, there's a stay of execution, and Terry Baker pounds that one through, and now it's a 6-point game. But Tracy really struggled in that series. I don't know what happened to him, but underthrew Armstrong for the touchdown and then didn't get the ball to Mill Coleman.
Well, it was a strange 3rd quarter for the Alouettes. They only had 57 yards of offense, and yet they outscored the Argos 8-7 in the 3rd quarter.
Now the Toronto offense really began to take a little bit of control of the game. Let's see if they can try to get the score back in their favor.
Robert Drummond, not much there, up the middle, stacked up. Doug Peterson in the middle of the pile, the big guy out of Fort St. John, BC, and Simon Fraser. So just 2 for Drummond, and it's 2nd and 8. Wow, that doesn't happen very often. Flutie looking for Mazzotti, who has another catch out of bounds at the 48. So Paul Mazzotti closing in on a 1,000-yard season. Catches that in front of Torrey Hunter. Flag, though, on the other side of the field. Let's find out what that marker's about.
Illegal contact on an eligible receiver. Montreal number 25. Decline. 1st down.
You know, this official crew has done a good job today, but you gotta, you know, the only illegal contact calls of the game have come against Toronto receivers, none against the Montreal receivers, and you know they're getting banged around a little bit too. I kind of wonder about that a little bit.
Mazzotti 26 yards away from 1,000. Flutie looking for Daryl Mitchell, and a great catch by Mitchell inside the Montreal 40. That kind of got away from Daryl Mitchell in this since the quick touchdowns in the 2nd quarter.
Well, he's gotten covered up a little bit, but this is a super catch. He's going to get in the seam area between the numbers and the hash, try to widen a little bit, and the throw is out there where Doug Flutie would like him, and he elevates and makes a super catch in the zone.
So the Argos on the move at the Montreal 38. Trailing by 6. Over the middle. There's Mazzotti. And Paul Mazzotti to the 25.
Well, what's happening now is Doug is changing formations now. He's trying to scheme the defense of Montreal a little bit. Now he's bringing Andre Kerwin, who's normally his outside receiver, wide outside receiver, in tight to the left side. And he's got Paul Mazzotti, who's normally his receiver to the short side of the field, in the slot to the wide side. So mixing things up a little bit.
Mazzotti closing in. Flutie. Incomplete. A pass intended for Dimitrition. Irv Smith and Tracy Gravely both there defensively.
The same formation, and now Montreal concerned with what was going on to the wide side of the field. Flutie tries to stick one into the backside to Dimitrition, but good coverage back there. Those guys didn't fall asleep.
Well, the Argos trying to win for the 16th time this year. Only the Edmonton Eskimos in '89 were able to post a 16-2 record. Here's Flutie on 2nd and 10. And that ball knocked down at the line. Well, was it Tracy Gravely? It was a mass of people there. Flutie trying to throw it over Gravely and Payton, and couldn't get it over the pile. So the defense closes the door.
Had the blitz on, number 1, Tom Europe in there. So it was man coverage, and he had a chance maybe for the home run to pinball Clemens, but it's batted down.
And Vanderjagt on to attempt a 32-yarder. And Vanderjagt pushed that left. Tough miss for Vanderjagt, who's been reliable all season long. And it's a 5-point advantage instead of 3.
Everywhere.
That is Doug Flutie. I think he's a little irritated. He's such a perfectionist. He gets a little irritated if he doesn't get the ball in the end zone. And then if you miss the field goal, double irritation for Doug Flutie. He's talking to John Jenkins right here, offensive coordinator. This guy right here, Bill Bradley, defensive coordinator.
Alouettes with a 5-point lead as Ham goes back to work, airing it out, looking for Nigel Williams. What a battle with Donald Smith down the sidelines. Incomplete.
Well, that's good coverage by Donald Smith, but how is this not illegal contact and the one Urban Smith had with Andre Kerwin called? Because this is the same thing that was going on, a hand-fighting situation. Smith's grabbing the arms and pulling on him, as you see him pulling on him still, and I think it's good corner play, but you got to call it on both sides of the ball.
So 2nd and 10 for Ham. And Ham pulls it down, and he may take off, and he's in trouble. Barely got back to the line of scrimmage as Johnny Harris closed ground in a hurry.
Well, Alan Wetmore, a rare opportunity for him to be in the game at running back, and as Tracy began to scramble, he had a chance to put a block on one of Don Matthews' guys and allow Ham to get up the sideline, but he didn't get it done.
So Baker comes on to punt. And pinball's back. 10:20 to go, 4th quarter. Baker gets it away. Clemens from his 38. And big hitting down there. Ray Bernard flying around again. He was the one that nailed pinball a couple of weeks ago. 37-yard punt, 4 on the return.
As Canada's auto parts store, Canadian Tire offers you even more. Like our Loan-A-Tool program. If you need an auto tool, just come to our auto parts counter, choose from a selection of specialized tools.